Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, from ignorance to illumination, from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. If you have noted down, there are some what is called dhyana slokas on meditation on Bhagavad Gita. I will discuss about it slightly later on today's class. I have selected 4 because they are very easy to chant. So if you still remember, please join me. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikaparnaye Gnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Duhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Today's class, first we will discuss what are the special features of Bhagavad Gita. Second, there are 9 dhyana slokas. Dhyana means meditation. Why is meditation so very important? We will discuss about it. Then third, an outline of the first chapter, of which I have already sent you notes. And those who want these notes, please contact Mr. Janak. He is here and he will send you the notes. It will be very useful even if you do not go through the whole class, but if you just go through the notes, these notes are like sutras. Sutra means a thread. So that will remind us what we had discussed previously and also prepare us for what is going to come next. So first, what are the important points, special points? Every scripture has got some very special message. Though all scriptures ultimately, in essence, teach the same truth, but every scripture has got some emphasis on certain special points. And Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Dayatmananda, they come very close together. In fact, I have told many times that if you have not read the Vedas, which are our foundational scriptures, but if you have read Gita, it is as good as equivalent to the study of the Vedas. And if you have not read Gita, but if you have read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is as good as reading, understanding, studying Bhagavad Gita. So those who have read the important teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, by the Gospel means, again I can summarize, I have summarized the Gospel as 5 commandments of Sri Ramakrishna. And if you have understood the 5 commandments of Sri Ramakrishna, you have understood the entire Gospel. If you have understood the entire Gospel, then you have understood the Gita. And if you have understood the Gita, you understood the entire Vedas. And even if you have doubts whether I understood or not, you need to understand only one sentence from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. What is that sentence? What is the essence of Gita? The essence of Gita is what you get by repeating that word again and again. Then it becomes Tagi. Tagi means give up. Give up what? Give up unreality. Give up the wrong CV we are cherishing now and get the right CV. So if we remember that, we have remembered the whole thing. Sri Ramakrishna is a past master in summarizing things. On the very first day M met Ramakrishna, he has summarized the entire Vedas. If you remember, just to remind you, what is that? What is the essence of Sandhya? Sandhya means the upper caste people do at dawn and dusk. That is called Sandhya. Sandhya means the junction between day and night. So what do these people do? They have a special kind of upasana or meditation which is called Sandhya. The Sandhya means actually that junction between day and night. But because at that time these people do elaborate rituals, that is why it goes by the name of the dawn-dusk worship. If you cannot do that, he condensed it. What is it? Gayatri. If you cannot do even the Gayatri, he said it is condensed into one syllable. Om. Om ityeka aksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran. Bhagavad Gita tells us, if a yogi remembers this one akshara, it's very interesting, akshara, it is called akshara. Om iti eka aksharam. Eka means one. Om. Then he attains to the supreme reality. So coming back, we will discuss very briefly. Why briefly? Because during our further talks, these things will be discussed elaborately as and when the topic comes. But I am highlighting what are the special points of Bhagavad Gita, which it specializes crystal clearly about it. The first thing, I already mentioned, what is Hinduism? Hinduism is nothing but the explanation of four Purusharthas. What are they? Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And it is curious to know that it is not only Hinduism. This is the essence of every religion. What does it say? Man is after happiness. Most of the people are after limited happiness. A few people want infinite happiness. So all people can be divided into two categories, those who want small happiness or those who want not bigger, infinite happiness. Now even that statement, everybody wants only limited happiness, is a wrong statement in reality. Even worldly people, they want infinite happiness. But what it should be translated as, those who use limited instruments get limited happiness, and those who use no instrument get infinite happiness. But the way to the infinite happiness is from the limited instruments to the beyond the any instrument. So first use the body, then use the mind, then go beyond both body and mind. That should be the thing. So every religion, it only teaches us these two facts, Purusharthas, how man can attain either temporary limited happiness or he can also get infinite happiness. Now let us not have a mistake that people want temporary happiness. No, they do not want temporary happiness. But they would not use the proper instruments to get infinite happiness. Why? Because of the power of Maya. Maya makes them use limited instruments and very, very feeble way of using it. And that's why the result also will be according to what instrument we use. I gave the example, God is like an ocean. So if you go to the ocean, 2 points you note, you don't need to beg an ocean that you give me some water. It doesn't even know that you want water. You take as much as you want. But how much can you bring back? Depends upon what instrument you take, what utensil you take to bring it. This is a very apt illustration because otherwise we think God has to be pleased. He has to be begged. Then he will say, let me think about it. And then if I feel like giving to you, I will give. Then how much I feel like giving to you, I will give. That is a wrong. It's just like an ocean. Open. You go and take what you want. Like light. Surya Bhagavan never says, you take only this much light. It depends upon us. So every religion is nothing but an exposition of these 4 values of human life. Human life, because it is called Purushartha. Purusha Artha. Purusha means not man. The Indians can mistake, Purusha. This teaching is meant only for men. No, they are not Purushas. Purusha means human being. Every human being can and must want or strive after. There is no choice here of 4 supreme values. These values are subdivided into 2. One is the instrumental value and another is the intrinsic value, final value. Dharma, Artha and Kama are instrumental values and moksha is the ultimate. Intrinsic means, instrumental means that which is meant for something else. Intrinsic means it is a value in itself, by itself, not for anything else. So everything else is meant for happiness. Why do you want to attend Gita class? I want knowledge. Why do you want knowledge? I want to tackle with problems. Why do you want to tackle with problems? I want to be happy. And why do you want to be happy? There is no answer. I want to be happy because that's my nature. That's what I want. It doesn't lead to something else. Purushartha. So this is the first point. Bhagavad Gita crystal clearly expounds the nature of the 4 Purusharthas and clearly points out that the very first value we have to seek is dharma. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita starts with what? Dharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. And then it also ends with dharma. Sarva dharman parityajya. So we will discuss these points in elaboration. That is the first thing. Second, in the Hindu scriptures, especially Hindu scriptures, and in no other scriptures you will get such an idea about incarnation of God. In the Hindu scriptures, there are several what is called unclear and indirect references to the fact of God incarnating as a incarnation, coming down as a human being. For example, in Bhagavatam, we get 10 incarnations, 24 incarnations, and many, many incarnations. In Ramayana, Rama himself was supposed to be an incarnation of Bhagavan Vishnu. So, what is an incarnation of God? When does he incarnate? And how does he incarnate? And what does he do? I think in our last class we have clearly discussed these points. This has been so clearly, categorically taught in the Bhagavad Gita. So just to remind ourselves, when does God incarnate, or how many times does he incarnate? How many times? Infinite number of times. When there is a need, God comes. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi. So here also a small point to be noted down. What does when dharma goes down, what does it mean? It means when man becomes profoundly confused, unhappy. When man becomes very, very unhappy and doesn't find a solution. Let me elaborate a little bit here. There are small unhappiness. A mosquito bites. You don't pray to God. Yeah.
Transforms to malaria.
So the point here is there are so many types of miseries, unhappinesses for which we have means. Though temporary, we have means. And we know, when we know we have means, then we don't pray to God, you have to come down. But a time comes, and that is what the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is going to tell us, that when such a profound grief overtakes, possesses a person, he says, I don't see any way out. No scripture can help. No guru can help. Nothing in this world can help. There is only one remedy, and that is God himself has to come and help me. But God doesn't come down for the sake of one person. When the whole humanity, whole world, this is an important point, God doesn't incarnate for a particular region, particular country, particular religion, particular segment of humanity. It comes for the welfare of the entire world. Why? Because the entire world is nothing but creation of God. In his eyes, there are no foreign countries. In his eyes, there is no foreign country. But we all have foreign countries, Do you know what is foreign country? In case you don't know, every other person is a foreign country. Philosophically, psychologically, we just don't have any entry into that other country. No visa allowed. If visa allowed also, I will share my thoughts with you, means what? I will give you temporary visa. That's it. For God, the whole universe is like a mother looking after her children. So he comes. This is what? When a large segment of humanity is undergoing profound misery, grief, suffering, and when there is nobody who can point out a way, God incarnates as a human being, and what does he do? Dharma sthapana. How does he do it? So what is the cause of grief? Any type of grief has a cause. Grief is an effect. Therefore it must have a cause. What is the cause? Ignorance in some respect or the other. Ignorance. Ajnana. What is ajnana? Not knowing what is the problem, not knowing what is the solution. What did I say? Not knowing what is the problem. We do not even know what is the problem. There is a beautiful parable which illustrates this. What is it called? Sufism has created there was one author called Idris Shah. He created a character called Mullah Nasruddin, the exploits of Mullah Nasruddin. So what happened? One day he lost a ring in a pool. And he saw there were lots of people, hundreds of people taking bath in that pool. There was another pool nearby. Nobody was going there. So he went into that pool and started searching. After some time, someone saw him and said, "Mullah, what are you searching?" And he said, "I lost my ring, so I am searching for it." So the other person joined, some other persons joined, 100 persons joined, and they were all searching. One person came and he asked, "Mullah, what are you all doing?" "So I am searching for it." "Where did you lose it?" He said, "I lost it in the other pool." He said, "If you have lost in the other pool, why are you searching here?" Then he said that, "You see, there are so many people, it is crowded, it is difficult to search. So here it is clear, so I am searching here." So we do not even know what we are suffering from. Only the first thing is, if we are diagnosed, this is your problem. What am I talking about? This is in the first chapter of the Gita. How did Gita start? Arjuna was going through profound misery, but he had a ready-made diagnosis. These are the reasons why I am suffering, and this is the remedy also. Then Krishna looked at him. He did not speak a single word, just kept mum, because he didn't seek his advice, unwarranted advice. Krishna will not give unwarranted advice. We are all experts, We are all eager to give unwarranted advice. Even people don't have problems also. So, what did Arjuna do? He was going through a profound shoka, dukkha, vishada. That's why it is called vishada. Then you see, he thought he knew. He knew the problem, he knew the solution. He did not know the problem, naturally he would not know the solution also. Later on, by the grace of Krishna, he understood, I am confused. And so, he understood, I am confused, I don't know what is the problem. Confusion means what? I don't know the problem, and much less the solution. The only way for me is to take the help of somebody who knows both the problem as well as a solution. And that somebody should be, first of all, an objective type of person. Secondly, he should be a person who doesn't have any vested interests. Thirdly, the person must be a wise person who knows what he is talking about. These three conditions must be there. And Krishna fulfills all the three conditions. And so he took refuge. Refuge means what? He is telling by that I know that I do not know. I know that you know what is the solution to my problems. And I take refuge in you. That means what? I have 100% faith, and I am going to take whatever you advise me, I am going to follow it up. And then only Krishna opens his mouth and gives one sloka. What is that sloka? Bhagavad Gita starts 11th sloka of the second chapter. Until the 10th verse of the second chapter, it is all a background story. Ashocyan anvashocastvam prajnavadamsya bhashase gatasum agatasumscha nanusochanti pandita. He says, you are grieving like a wise person. You are talking like a wise person, grieving like a fool. These are opposite characteristics. Who is a wise person? Who never grieves. And who is a fool? Whatever he may talk, he doesn't have any knowledge. You are a fool pretending to be a wise man. Because what is the correct definition of a wise man? A wise man is a very happy person. A wise man is a very happy person. That is the definition. We are not talking about worldly happiness. We are talking about happiness that arises out of knowledge, jnanam. That is where the Bhagavad Gita starts. And it also ends, ma shuchaha sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Do not grieve, because I will release you from all misery, every misery. And miseries belong only to two objects. All miseries spring from two sources. What are they? Body and mind. Identification with the body, identification with all problems arising from body and mind. What is the lesson? If there is a body, there will be problems. If there is a mind, there will be also. How do we know? We know because it is our personal experience. Every single day, when we are in deep sleep, what is that state? When there is no body, no mind. Not that there is no body, mind. There is no identity with body and mind. That's why we are blissful. And there is nobody. There may be 1,000 people around us, but there is nobody in that. We are alone. Advaita. Dvaita means, duality means unhappiness. Where there are two, there is problem. Anyway, there was a great soul called Vidyaranya, and he said, once he made a very beautiful remark. He said, how spiritual aspirants should live. He said, where there are two spiritual aspirants together, it is called a village. Where there are three spiritual aspirants, it is called a city. That means if there are two people, there is every possibility that there is talk and then misunderstanding and problems, everything. Where there is a duality, there is a problem. Where there is non-duality, there is no problem. Body-mind means it is a duality. That is why Dvaita means not merely having body-mind, but having the identity that I am the body and mind. Let me dwell a moment upon this. You see, we are all so many people. We are all sitting here together. So, I am not identified with any of your bodies or minds. That's why I don't suffer from your problems. And you don't suffer from my problems. None of us suffer from the problems of each other. But supposing you are a family person, you have husband or wife, children, something is not right, would you not suffer? Sometimes we suffer more than even they suffer. Yeah, maybe a patient, and the patient is unconscious. Who suffers? We are suffering. So here also, even though they are separate from us, as though we have become them. We identify ourselves with them. So that illustrates an important point here. A wise man can have body-mind, but as though he doesn't have any body and mind. That's why he has no problems. In fact, there was a king whose name itself is bodilessness, if you remember. Videha. Janaka Maharaja, Videha Janaka. It's a beautiful idea. Okay. So, first point, we will expound these things in details when the topic comes. So, this is only just to highlight. God incarnates and He teaches, and Gita is God's teaching. And here, what is it? It is an wonderful exposition of Purusharthas. He reminds us, you have to have dharma, you have to have artha, you have to have kama, but ultimately all these must be instruments which lead us to the highest Purushartha. What is it? Moksha means to know who we really are. Knowledge, have knowledge. That is the essence of Mahavakya. A guru comes and tells, you heard about Mahavakya? The whole Vedas contains Mahavakya. Aham Brahmasmi. It's called Mahavakya. The great sentence. Vakya means sentence. Maha means the supreme sentence. What does it tell you? Art Tattvamasi. Thou art that. That means you are Brahman, you are God, you are divine. Each soul is potentially divine. That's what it is. So now we are coming to the second point, divine incarnation. Why does he come? When a large number of humanity, his children, undergo profound grief and do not know what is the cause and do not know what is the solution, he incarnates. So what is the condition? Condition is a large number of humanity must be suffering intensely and do not know why and how to get rid of it. That is the essence of what is called sarva, yada yada hi dharmasya glanam. That is the essence of it. He also comes to validate the truth of the scriptures. Because somebody has to validate. And when we are discussing the life of great master, that is one of the points I made. Why Sri Ramakrishna had not got any education? Is it because he doesn't have intelligence? He was very, very intelligent, super intelligent. And yet, he had not cared for this kind of academic education. Why? What is the reason? Is there any special meaning in his not acquiring academic education? We already discussed. What was the point?
Prove that to be happy or to attain to spiritual.
No. You are right. But the real point is, it is a historical necessity. What is the necessity? These days, there is a kind of knowledge called psychology has come. These psychologists will tell you all the scriptures are bunk. If anybody says, but I had a vision of God, when did you have vision of God? Oh, after reading Bhagavatam, I meditated. Meditated means constantly I have been thinking. Naturally, whatever you believe, whatever you think, naturally you are self-proving what you already are thinking. This is a very peculiar point. I will just point it out. Some people are accident prone. Why are they accident prone? Accidents can happen without anybody's intention. That's a real accident. The other type of accident is the person goes on believing I am accident prone. And he goes to prove that, you see, I have been telling and you never believed me. See, it happened. There is a lot of truth in it. That means whatever we believe, happen to believe, so we think that is the truth. So if I go on thinking about a particular form of God, then I am likely to have a vision of that particular form of God. So here these kind of psychologists come and tell us that these are all fictions, imaginations of your brain. Just because you have been thinking, you are having these visions of God. So that means all the scriptures are totally false. Somebody created a scripture and you have read it and then you started believing it and praying, thinking day and night, and then you had a vision. You say, yes, the scripture is true. Now is the scripture true or because you believed the scripture true? And you go on propagating it to your disciple and to his disciple like that. There is a tendency. Now Sri Ramakrishna wanted to put a stop to it and say, But I have not read any scriptures, I have not studied any scriptures, and yet I had all these truths abundantly, conclusively proved through what is called prayer, only through prayer. That's a very important point here is Ramakrishna's incarnation proves that through intense vyakulata, he called yearning, if one prays to God, then he will realize the same truths by the grace of God. That's what he did in the first part of his sadhana. What is the second part? He actually followed all the scriptures, important scriptures, through proper authentic gurus who have either realized God through their path or at least advanced very highly, like Bhairavi Brahmani, not a God realized soul. Totapuri was a God realized soul. So through them, a definite path he followed, and then he proved once again, yes, they are all true. If you follow them, you will reach the same goal. So even then there are people who say the same old argument because you read and you had, but the point, counterpoint, how do we counter it? There is only one counter. You see, you psychologist, who comes to you, who comes for your advice? A person who is suffering from psychological problems, and they are very unhappy people. First of all, I am a very happy person. Secondly, I don't need your advice, because people go to psychologists what purpose? To become happy. But I am a very happy person. Then the psychologist might counter, oh, you have got money, you have got a beautiful wife or husband or children or friends, and because of all these things, no, I don't have any of these things. I am like that king who doesn't have any clothes. Very happy person without any clothes. Person with clothes is very unhappy. A person without clothes is very, very happy. That's what Sri Ramakrishna wanted to prove. So, Sri Ramakrishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, we are talking about Bhagavad Gita, that God incarnates, and also to prove the scriptures. And the scriptures tell us three things. Mainly, the scriptures teach us three things only. What are those three things? God exists, there is life after, and there are other worlds. This is what every scripture of every religion teaches. Vedas also teach these three things. They don't teach anything else. About the sun, about the moon, etc. they don't teach. Why? We can get that knowledge through our five sense organs. So what is a Veda? A Veda is one which teaches us knowledge about things which we can never obtain. Even after billion years we can't obtain through our five sense organs. So, Indriya Atita Jnanam is called Veda. One definition. Yeah. Agnata Gnapakam Shastram. Another definition. That which you can never get through any other means or pramana. We will discuss about what is a pramana. Pramana means a means of acquiring knowledge is called pramana. For example, I see the table. How do I see the table? I have knowledge of the table. How do I get this knowledge of the table? Because I have got eyes. And when you talk something, I hear. And when I talk something, I hope you hear. So, to prove everything that is written in the scriptures is absolute truth, that is one of the purposes of the avatar. Okay. Reincarnation. What follows? If there is afterlife, there is reincarnation. Where does this idea come in the Bhagavad Gita? It says when a person with whichever thought he gives up his body, then his next birth is determined by that. There are many shlokas are there. So those who perform lot of spiritual austerities and pujas, etc. So what do they do? They go to heavens. Evam trayi dharmam anuprapanna gata gatam kama kama labhante. So they go and then they come back. Once the credit is over, then they will have to come down. Many times it is there, and in fact, according to Veda, the scripture is anadi. Anadi means what? Beginningless. What does it mean? Scriptures or Vedas are not human creations. They are eternal. So we will discuss that point also. So Bhagavad Gita reinforces that belief that there are other worlds and death is not the end. So when we die, we go to some other loka, up or down, happy world or unhappy world, Swarga or Naraka, but there is nothing called death. And that's a great relief. Then, similarly, the law of karma. The law of karma. That is what is karma? Whatever we do. So that verse I have just now quoted. So whatever is the last thought. So our next birth is determined by that thought. And what would be our last thought? Do not be under any impression. I will not think of God whole life, but last moment I will just think of God and I will give up the body and I will become God. It is not going to happen. Whatever thoughts we cherish throughout life, that only comes. This is what Sri Ramakrishna put it in a most beautiful way. What does he say? He says, whatever, when a person eats garlic, what is the belch that comes out? Garlic only. So the last thought, if you are eating garlic whole life, then you have to understand that the last thought will not be Krishna, it will be garlic. How do we know? Next birth others will know.
So Mother, wherever is your center of consciousness?
Huh?
Wherever is your center of consciousness,
Yeah.
that will be your last thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I will put it the other way, because consciousness is always associated with a thought. In fact, the moment you use the word thought, even if you say I am thoughtless, you have to be conscious. Yeah. So that consciousness has nothing to do with the thought. Our day-to-day habits have a lot to do with that. So by the same token, this Bhagavad Gita also reinforces one idea from the Vedas, because it is the essence of the Vedas. What is that idea? The law of the chosen deity. Bhagavan Krishna, crystal clearly he says that whichever form devotees want to worship me with, I will respond to them in that particular form, and I will reinforce their Shraddha in that particular form, so that they will attain me through that form. So first they attain me in that form, later on they attain me through that form, my real nature. It's very clearly he has reinforced it. So Hinduism consists of these four doctrines, if you remember. What are those four? God alone is real. Brahman alone is the only reality. And the second is the idea that we are living in the world of Maya and we have to get out of Maya. What is moksha? Moksha means liberation. Liberation means freedom. What does freedom mean? Freedom from what? Maya.
Ignorance.
Freedom from ignorance. Another word for ignorance is Maya. Avidya, Ajnana, Maya, these are the words. So first doctrine on which Hinduism stands is that there is only one reality, that is called Brahman. Brahman. We use Vedic words. Aham Brahmasmi, etc. The second What is the second one? Just now I told. Moksha is the only goal of life. Ultimate goal of life is moksha. Moksha means freedom. Freedom from ignorance, bondage, maya. The third is the law of the Ishtadevata. That is, you can attain this freedom by worshipping God in a particular way, whichever way you choose. Whichever way you choose. So God can assume any form a devotee likes to worship Him through. A devotee loves, I like this form of yours. And in Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel you get all these things so beautifully. It is, he says, God assumes various forms for the sake of His devotees. He says. And through that, from the form, He advances to the formless. From the formless, He advances to that which is beyond both form and formlessness. That is what Bhagavan Krishna in the Gita, through the Gita, He conclusively proves it. Though some of His followers have become very fanatics. Accepting through Krishna, there is no salvation. Yeah, there are some people who say. Okay. In the Rig Veda, this idea of the law of chosen deity is beautifully put forward. Truth is one, but sages call it by various names. Ekam, Sat, Vipraha, Bahuda, Vadanti. So Krishna had come to prove that. Sri Ramakrishna had come to prove that. In Bengali, that's what he said, Joto Mot, Toto Pot. As many faiths, so many paths. Every faith is a path, but the goal is only one. All are traveling towards the same goal, only the paths differ. So in the Bhagavad Gita, harmony of all yogas and harmony of all philosophies. Again, we will discuss it when we are elaborate it when it comes to the point. All the yogas. How many yogas are there? 4 yogas are there. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga and raja yoga. And so many philosophies. How many philosophies are there? 3. Dvaita, Visishta Dvaita and Advaita. You take any religion in this world, or every religion falls into one or more of these schools of philosophy and takes one or more of the yogas. So every religion is a combination of one particular philosophy and one particular or more yoga path. Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita says that everybody comes to me only, whatever path they follow. He never said this is karma yoga is better, bhakti yoga is better, raja yoga is better, or jnana yoga is better. Though there are some people who misuse and say jnana marga, the path of knowledge, is the only path. Ultimately everybody has to come. These are called fanatics. Ramakrishna never said that, Swamiji never said that, Bhagavan Krishna never said that. In fact, what he says is, those who please me, I release them. Yeah. Okay. Harmony of all yogas and philosophies. Both secular and spiritual knowledge is the same, but 2 expressions of the same reality. So Bhagavad Gita's speciality is not that only spiritual knowledge, secular knowledge. In knowledge, there is no such division. It's an important point. Knowledge has no such division. But how we use that knowledge depends upon whether it is secular or spiritual. Simple example. Here is a person who is expounding Gita. He has got knowledge about Gita. Is it spiritual or secular? Just now you are hearing from me. Knowledge by itself, per se, has no such division, secular or spiritual. What is the motive? If this person is teaching for the sake of money, for the sake of name and fame, for the sake of honor, etc., then that is called secular. But if he is doing this for the sake of pleasing the Lord. I remember a beautiful incident. Once, you know what happened? Holy Mother came to Belur Math, and you know, in Belur Math, that kitchen, many sadhus, brahmacharis sit and dress vegetables because they have to cook for 500 to 600 people. So Holy Mother went, and then she saw how wonderfully everybody was dressing the vegetables. Then she made a remark, "Oh, these boys, they know how to dress." Then one of the Swamis, I think it may be Swami Jagadishwarananda, he remarked, "It doesn't matter what we do, our goal is to please the Divine Mother. If we can please the Divine Mother by dressing the vegetables, all that we need is her blessings. Then we cross over the samsara." So the thing is, any knowledge, so a person has got, let us say, atomic knowledge. It doesn't make him damned, it doesn't make him a saint. It depends upon for what purpose we use. So that is an important point Bhagavan here reinforces. There is no such division called secular or spiritual. Knowledge is knowledge. Saraswati is Saraswati. Whether you want to become a doctor or whatever, it is the mother. But if we can use that knowledge to worship God, to adore God, then it is absolutely fine. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, one more point is, yoga is both the goal and the path. Yoga, that is why it is Bhagavad Gita's Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. Yoga is both the means as well as the... So when you are beginning, it is the path. When you reached, it is the goal. That is why he is called Yogeshwara, Yogeshwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mam. That is the last verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Grace and self-effort, they are obverse and reverse of the same coin. That is what just now I quoted. Where there is Krishna with yoga, where there is Arjuna who is to fight. Here yoga, fight with the help of yoga. That is the idea. Krishna gives you the guidance. But who has to do the fighting? Arjuna. Where these two, self-effort and grace of God, are combined together, surely there will be victory. One attains to the highest goal. Finally, according to Swami Vivekananda, there is one shloka which is the very essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Do you know what is that? Klaipyam mahasmagamah partha naitatva upapadyate. Klaipyam mahasmagamah, do not become a eunuch. That means be a man, be a man. And that's what Sri Ramakrishna also said. Who is a man? He who is conscious of his man. And do you know what is man? Mana means he who is aware of his real nature. He is real man. He is a Purusha. So finally, the last point I wanted to say, worship God through one's own duty. Sri Krishna in the Gita itself clearly he says, any man can reach me by worship, he can worship by worshipping me. And how does a man, or how should a man worship me? Through his own inherent duties, according to the station, according to the stage. Varna and ashrama. And what does he mean by Varna and ashrama? These are peculiar terms which we will expound later on. These are the very essence of the Bhagavad Gita, special points of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now we will go to the what I call the Dhyana Shlokas. Now what I wanted to tell you, we are not studying Gita. Yes, we are studying Gita. But what is Gita? Gita is not a book. Gita is not a scripture. Gita is God Himself. Gita is God Himself. The Sikhs, what do they worship? Guru Granth Sahib. You know, they fan and they put flowers, whatever we do to the image or photo of God, they do everything to the book. And this idea is reinforced in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. That's why when I am discussing Gita, I bring Thakur's life. And when I am discussing Thakur's life, I bring also Gita, Upanishads, etc. Do you remember that? Every evening, morning, Sri Ramakrishna used to clap his hands and chant Bhagavata, Bhakta, Bhagavan. Or one in three and three in one. Bhagavatam means scripture. Bhagavatam means doesn't mean Bhagavatam only. It could be Gita, it could be Bible, it could be Quran, anything. Why? It's a revelation from God. Revelation from God is God Himself. Revelation from God is God Himself. Okay. So, that incident, some of our devotees know, one evening, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in that particular temple at Dakshineswar called Radha Krishna temple. And one Pandit was expounding Bhagavatam. Suddenly Sri Ramakrishna had a vision. He saw a ray of light coming from the lotus feet of Bhagavan Krishna, touching the Bhagavatam and coming to the heart of Sri Ramakrishna and again going back to the feet of Bhagavan Krishna. So like a triangle. It came from the Lord and it touched the Bhagavatam and it touched the heart of the Thakur and went back. So from that day onwards, he added this also, Bhagavata, Bhakta and Bhagavan. Bhagavatam, Bhakta and Bhagavan. So what does it mean? Where there is a Bhagavatam, there is a devotee and there is God. Because Bhagavatam is nothing other than God Himself. And who reads Bhagavatam? If somebody is reading Bhagavatam, he must be only a... Don't go on saying he could be a bookseller also. Usually it is the devotee. Where there is a devotee, there is God. Can there be devotee without God? Can there be God without devotee? Very important point. Huh? If there is a God and there is no devotee, who recognizes Him that He is God? There must be a devotee to recognize that yes, you are God, you are great, and I am worshipping you, and all that. Then he says, yes, you are right. Somebody has to certify, yes, you are God. Where there is God, there is Bhagavatam. Means what? Where there is an object, there is knowledge. What is Bhagavatam? Knowledge of God is called Bhagavatam. Scripture. We are not talking about particular book called Bhagavatam. We are talking about scripture. So, from that day, Sri Ramakrishna understood. Interesting point in this story, that ray of light did not touch the Pandit. It touched Sri Ramakrishna because he was expounding it for the sake of, it is his professional duty and he is doing it. But Sri Ramakrishna is a devotee. Means where there is Bhagavatam, there will be devotee and there will be Bhagavan. Where there is Bhagavan, there is devotee and scripture. And where there is devotee, there will be Bhagavatam. They are not three, but three sides of the same thing. That is what. If that is true, is it true in the case of Bhagavad Gita also? Yes, it is true in the case where there is Bhagavad Gita, there is God, there is devotee. So we have to consider it. That is why we have to salute. So there was a great soul called Madhusudana Saraswati, and he had written most wonderful commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It's one of the most voluminous commentaries. Swami Gambhiranji Maharaj had translated it, if anybody wants to give. And he was supposed to have composed 9 verses in praise of this Bhagavad Gita. These are called meditational slokas. very briefly, I want to live. What is meditation? You want to think about Sri Ramakrishna. You want to adore Sri Ramakrishna. And then you have to meditate upon him. You want to worship Sri Ramakrishna. You have to meditate upon him. How do you meditate? So that meditation is called dhyana. So to worship any god, so he will be like this. For example, if we are worshipping Sri Ramakrishna, how do we worship? Hridaya kamala madhye rajitam nirvikalpam sadasada kila bhedaatitam ekaswarupam prakriti vikruti shunyam nityam ananda murtim vimala paramahamsam ramakrishnam bhajamaha. So if we want to meditate upon Ganesha or Vishnu, Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye, it is actually not Narayana's dhyana, you know that? It is Ganesha dhyana mantra. Yes, but it comes like that. What is the point? Point is to have a correct idea about that divinity upon whom we want to focus our mind, whom we would like to adore, worship, to think about. We must have a proper idea. That is what fulfills through these dhyana shlokas. So in these dhyana shlokas, there are what you call 4 salutations. It is salutations and thinking the greatness of this Bhagavad Gita. What are the 4 salutations? Saluting the Mahabharata, saluting the Bhagavad Gita, saluting the Lord Krishna, and saluting the teaching ultimately, and describing why it has come, how it has come, etc. 4 salutations are there. So we will take out one by one. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gradhitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Astadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. First I will read the translation, then I will explain a little bit. Om, O Mother Bhagavad Gita, with which Arjuna Partha was enlightened by Lord Narayana himself, which was composed and placed in the middle of the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa, which showers the nectar of non-duality, which is glorious, which contains 18 chapters, and which is an antidote to the experience of change, samsara, I constantly meditate upon thee. Slight explanation. So this is salutations to the Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is another form of Lord himself. So it is Parthaya Pratibodhita. To whom was this teaching given to? Partha, Arjuna. Partha is another name for Arjuna. Pratibodhita. Arjuna Pratibodhita. Addressing Arjuna, this teaching was given. By whom? Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. By Narayana himself through his incarnation as Bhagavan Krishna, Swayam. So what does it mean? Why is it called Bhagavad Gita? Last class I explained Gita means what? Song. A song is very soothing. Song is very soothing. So if you have something to complain, sing a song. It will be tolerable by your husband much more easily, or the other way around also. Yeah. So that is why it is called a song is soothing, and it is easy also for us to take it in instead of dry these things, Simple example I will give you. So if you say, hey, you must always worship God, otherwise you will go to the very special place. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati Dukrum Karane. If you sing that, which is essence is same. But it is very nicely taken. That's why it is called Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord. So, his Lord is addressing to Arjuna. What is important here, every sincere spiritual aspirant is Arjuna. And for him, who is the Lord? Knowledge. So what is the antidote for ignorance? Knowledge. So knowledge is given. God himself, what does God give us? When God gives us, what does God give?
Himself.
Okay, then an ignorant person gives an advice to another ignorant person. What do you think he will give? Still more ignorance. Yeah, andhenaiva niyamana yathantha. A one blind man leading the other blind people. So only knowledge can give to knowledge. That means God is of the nature of knowledge. So what is Bhagavad Gita? Knowledge. What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavan. So if he is Bhagavan, he is giving, he is of the nature of knowledge, so he is passing on that knowledge to dispel the darkness of ignorance from Arjuna's mind. So who has recorded it? Vyasena Grathitam. So Vyasa is not the author. Vyasa is only the recorder, like M is the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He is not the author, he is only compiler. That's why we call him our Veda Vyasa. Yes, our Veda Vyasa. So who is this Veda Vyasa? Purana Muni. Purana Muni means two meanings are there. Purana Muni means one who has composed a lot of Puranas. He is supposed to be the author of 18 Puranas. But the other meaning of Purana is that he is a very ancient. That means he knows a lot, he has a lot of knowledge. So a man called Vyasa, in fact the very word Vyasa is not the name of a person. It's a title of a person. Vyasa means editor, compiler. So because he compiled Vedas, so he got the name Veda Vyasa. Editor of, his real name was Krishna Dvaipayana. Krishna means, not this Krishna, dark. Krishna means dark. Draupadi was called Krishna. Krishna was also called Krishna. Vyasa was also called Krishna, dark. And he was born in an island. And his father's name was Parashara. That's why he is called Parasharya, which will come here. Purana Munina. Where did he record it? Madhye Mahabharata. In the middle of Mahabharata. Where exactly do you know? There is a parva, a chapter called Bhishma Parva. Bhishma Parva, 25th chapter to 42nd chapter comes this Bhagavad Gita episode. And it came 10 days after the war had started. I don't know, probably most of you are under the idea that before the war started, this Bhagavad Gita, it was recorded when? 10 days later. Why? This power was given by Vyasa to Sanjaya, and Sanjaya was narrating this at Hastinapura. 10 days afterwards, 10 days passed, then Dhritarashtra was asking, "Oh Sanjaya, how was it going on, having gathered, what happened, etc." Okay. So what does this Bhagavad Gita, it is called Gita. So he says, Advaita Amrita Varshinim. She rains down. She gives rain. What is the rain? Varsha means rain. Varshinim. What is that?
Nectar.
Nectar. Amrita. Amrita means that which makes a mortal immortal is called Amrita. And what type of Amrita? Advaita. Advaita means what? You are divine. Whatever way you interpret, you are divine. You are not non-divine. You are divine. And it consists of how many chapters? This Bhagavad Gita. 80. So it says, Bhagavatim Ashtadasha Adhyayanim, consisting of 18 chapters. Amba She is not only Amrit Bhagavati. Who is Bhagavati? Bhagavan. Another side of Bhagavan is called Bhagavati. She is divine. Amba. Amba means, O mother. Tvam anusandadam. I meditate upon you. Like Gayatri. Bhagavad Gita. O mother Bhagavad Gita. Sambodhana Bhagavad Gita. Means, O Bhagavad Gita, Amba, O Mother, O Bhagavati, you who consist of 18 chapters, I meditate upon you. And what do I get out of it? Bhava Dveshini. That means you destroy the ignorance of samsara. Bhava means samsara. Bhava sagara tarana karana he. Have you heard somewhere? Bhava. It means this world is called Bhava. Bhava means becoming. The world of becoming. Bhava. From the root word bhu, it comes Bhava. Bhava means this world, worldly life. So you destroy if anybody who listens to your teachings and follows them. Then salutations to Vyasa himself, because he has taken the trouble to record it. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yenatvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Gnanamaya Pradipaha. Salutations unto the O Vyasa, whose intellect is vast, whose eyes are as large as the petals of a full-blown lotus, by whom was lighted the lamp of wisdom and the full essence of the Mahabharata. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Vishala Buddhe means of deep knowledge. What is deep knowledge? Knowledge, according to scripture, is of two types: secular knowledge and spiritual knowledge. Here we are referring to what? Spiritual knowledge. So, what kind of person is? Phulla Aravindayata Patra. Your eyes are resemble like the buds of a lotus leaf. Beautiful. Swami Vivekananda's eyes compared to half-closed lotus bud. It's most beautiful eyes. There was a devotee, a disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and later on he was asked. The story will come later on. Just I am giving in brief. That what made you follow Swami Vivekananda? Was it his teachings? He said, nothing doing. I fell in love with those devilish eyes. Once I looked at them, finished. I was hypnotized by them. After that I gave up everything. Do you know whom I was talking about? Swami Sadar, later on Sadananda. Yes, he was a railway officer, etc. Okay, we will not go into that now. So, salutations. What type of? Is a most beautiful eyes. And there is also a beautiful meaning here. Who has beautiful eyes? A person whose eyes are full of love, and whose eyes are full of love? Whose eyes could be full of love? Only a person who has knowledge. So you see, a mother's eyes are full of love. Why are they full of love towards her baby? Why? This is my baby. So his eyes are full of knowledge. What is the knowledge? Everything is divine. That is the knowledge. And that's what he wanted to encapsulate through the Mahabharata, through the Bhagavatam, as well as through the 18 Puranas beautifully. So, Ena Tvaya Bharata Tailapurna Prajvalito Gnana. You lit a lamp. Vyasa. What is your greatness? You lit a lamp. What type of lamp is Gnana Mayaha? It is a lamp of knowledge. And what is the oil? You see, a lamp requires oil. What is the oil here? Bharata Taila Purnaha. Mahabharatam is the oil. That means what? The very essence of the Mahabharata is nothing but Bhagavad Gita. That's what he wants. The whole Mahabharata is nothing but it is full of knowledge. Both knowledge about our life, knowledge also about our goal and how to achieve the goal. So it is also believed this Bhagavad Gita is an aphorism and the whole Mahabharata, and it consists of how many parvas? 18. It consists of 18. So that is exposition of the Bhagavad Gita. That's what it is called. Okay. Then we move on. So salutations to Vyasa. Then salutations to Bhagavan Krishna. Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye jnana mudraya krishnaya Gita duhe namaha. Salutations to Krishna, who holds a cane in one hand and a Jnana Mudra. This is called Jnana Mudra, and I explained to you, if you remember, Jnana Mudra, who is the tree of fulfillment to all those who surrender unto him, who has milked the nectar of Gita. So, the next verse it will give you, all the Upanishads are cows. Who is the milker? Bhagavan Krishna. So that's what he is referring to. This whole Bhagavad Gita is nothing but milk. So why is it called milk? It doesn't matter. You don't need to get all the cows. Let somebody tend the cows. All that you are worried about is what? Only milk. It doesn't matter. Most people, they mix a lot of water. It is necessary because for a child, watery milk is very good. So that is what most of us are given until we grow. Then we are given the real milk which we can really digest. So here is a person who is prapanna parijata. Prapanna means one who takes refuge. For him, he becomes a kalpavriksha, a wish-fulfilling tree. Whatever the devotee wants, he will give. And how many desires people can have? Only 4. Only 4. What are they? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. God is ready to give. But the condition is, you must surrender yourself to the God. Prapanna. That is why Ramanuja's path is called Prapanna Marga. Prapanna Marga means path. Prapanna Marga means the path of surrender, self-surrender. So, Krishna, salutations to Krishna, who is the milker of this Gita, and he is always is having this Jnana Mudra, his posture, and he has got a handle of a whip. We'll come to that very shortly. And he is like a wish-fulfilling tree, but condition is any person, he must surrender himself to him. So, Prapanna Parijata to Krishna, who is like a wish-fulfilling tree for those who take refuge in him. Totra Vetraika Panaya. Totra Vetra means whip. Vetra means handle. If you have a whip, and how do you hold the whip? There must be a handle. And here, where was he sitting? On the chariot of Arjuna. Why? Because he has to control the horses. That is why he is also called Rishikesha, Lord of the Indriyas. So, unless God sits in us in the form of knowledge and controls our body and mind, we are not going anywhere. That is the idea. So, to that Krishna, who holds the whip, and if the horses are going wrong, what does he do? Whip lash will come. That is what is called. Whenever we are undergoing a sorrow or grief, it is the Lord in the form of dharma. He is whipping us. The purpose is, that's not the way to go. That's the wrong way. You have to go to the right way. And Jnana Mudraya. Always Jnana Mudra. So, did you get this explanation? This is called Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra. Very briefly today I will tell you. This is called Paramatma. This is called Jivatma. At this moment, Jivatma is with this Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karan Sharira. But when knowledge comes, he realizes I am God. Then he becomes one. And this becomes separate or assistant. So this is why it is called Chin Mudra, Gnana Mudra. One who is always automatically, he is showing this. Sache Krishna, who is the milker, that means who is the essence of all the scriptures. Salutations to that Krishna. Now, just only one sentence I want to add to this. That is, Bhagavan Krishna contains the milk. Milk of nectar. Nectar of means what? Knowledge. Knowledge. So if one takes refuge in him, he doesn't need all the scriptures because he has done the work of squeezing the essence of the scriptures for us. He is holding the milk. After all, what do you want? Do you want a cow or do you want the milk? We want the milk. So if anyone takes refuge in him, he will give that milk and he becomes blessed. So there are other 6 are there. We will take up in our next class. But it's very wonderful to have these Jnana Shlokas because this will give us an idea, first of all, what we are going to study. Secondly, it gives us faith in the scripture, in God. They are not ordinary words of ordinary persons, ordinary words. It is essence of nectar and which will free us from this samsara, bandhana, etc. And we have to salute them. That's why whenever you read Kathamrita or Gospel, you have to also salute M, because it is through him that it has come. So with this we will close today's. We will chant Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.